10 days ago, we planted some seeds and looks like most of them germinated. Here we have some pumpkins, some corn, some sunflower, some green beans. Here are our Black Beauty zucchini. They are the biggest ones. We also have some watercress, some radishes, parsley. These we planted later. These are cucumbers because we forgot to buy seeds for cucumbers, so I planted them a bit later. They usually germinate in 10-14 days, so I'm expecting some growth here too. We also used our seed propagators to start some other seeds. These are our beetroots. We also have few kinds of lettuce. Here our leeks are a bit slow. They just started showing up. Very tiny ones. These are our San Marzano tomatoes. The seeds obviously were good, so I have to prune them and leave just one per container. We have some tiny carrots here. They usually germinate very slow, about 30 days. We have two varieties, yellow and orange. Our beetroot is doing very well. Most of the seeds germinated well, so we have to prune them and leave one or two in every spot. Yesterday we went to the garden center and bought few big plants. These are two cherry tomatoes we also bought. Big plants that will be also put in our garden. One of them is ready even to blossom. And we also bought some cauliflower here that we'll plant next week in our garden too. And some oregano and parsley because our herbs are very slowly growing and we need more herbs in our garden. From all seeds we planted, just our peppers have not germinated. So we went to the garden center and bought some big plants. But because we are expecting cold weather next week, we won't plant them yet in the garden. We'll leave them inside until this cold wave passes. We try to start our plants from seeds because these that they sell in the garden center are quite expensive. This container, for example, costs about 4 euros. There is no guarantee when you put them in the garden that they will survive and give some produce. So with our seeds, we might not have very good success rate, but at least the seeds are very cheap, so you can plant a bit more and probably with success rate about 70%. You can have plants at much lower price. For our San Marzano tomatoes, we used just half pack of seeds. We have 12 here and 12 here, so 24. Hopefully of these 24 we can have 10 healthy plants, and a pack of seeds cost about 2 euro. Just this single cherry tomato plant costs 2 euros. 25 days passed since we started our vegetable seeds. Looks like most of them germinated, even the bell peppers here that I thought won't be okay. The seeds are okay, they just appeared a bit later. We have just few fails in few slots. Unfortunately, the weather was not good last days and we had to keep everything inside. There was not much sun and they are a bit pale, but now the weather improved and we started taking them out. Everything looks fine, but I think they need more time to grow, and maybe especially the tomatoes and the beetroot there, I have to transfer to bigger pots so they have time to grow a bit. Like our Black Beauty zucchini, they look amazing and I can't wait to transfer them in the garden. I'm just waiting a bit the weather to improve because the nights are still cold and not okay for such small plants. Here our sunflowers and corn, I think they suffered the most the lack of sunshine. Their leaves are really pale, but I hope the sun will do the job and they will get greener. Now they are not looking very nice. The plants we bought from the garden center, these peppers and 2 cherry tomatoes, they even have flowers. So if I don't transfer them soon in the garden, maybe we'll have tomatoes in the room. We also bought 2 stevia plants. I didn't know they sell them, but I'm curious to grow this in our garden. The advice we got from the garden center is to wait a bit for this, to plant them in the garden. They turn into bigger shrubs and they need a lot of sun, but we'll make another short video especially dedicated to these plants. We use a lot of stevia in our household because we don't buy white sugar, so I think people like us that don't eat main carbs will be interested in this video. Watch the channel to find out when we will publish this video. I'm happy to see that most of our carrots germinated, although I read many stories that carrots do not germinate, they germinate very slow. I have success. From 24 I've got 22 and our leeks is doing really fine. These green things are actually leeks. So I have to prune them a bit because there are 3-4 in each slot, but I think we'll have leeks as well. In these 2 pots we planted calendula. Calendula is an excellent pollinator, so we should take care for our bees and have some flowers. We have some things growing in our garden, potatoes and fodder beans. I'll take you down to see what's happening there. Most of our stuff in the garden was covered for the last few days. We had hailstorm and we had to put back our winter protection because the temperatures were very, very low during the night. One night we had about 0. So yesterday was the first day we uncovered the veggies. We'll go down to the garden to show you what's happening and what have been planting in our garden. Even covered, our broccoli have some damages on their leaves. This is caused by the hailstorm we had. They were covered, but still you see some holes, although the plants look healthy and okay. We also planted here some fodder beans, these plants. I'm expecting some flowers soon. They usually flower until the plants are very small. And we also have some potatoes. The starter for potatoes were between 6 and 11 euros for 2 kilos. So I just bought regular potatoes from the shop, left them on a sunny place. They started pruning and after that I planted them, see the result. Milen was busy digging here the soil. He was preparing this patch for me to start transferring my plants. But these are the first one I planted. This is the cauliflowers we bought from the garden center. We kept them inside because of the bad weather, but the leaves started turning yellow. So 2 days ago we transferred them here in the garden and look, the plants look fresh and far better than they were inside. The sun does its wonders. The broccoli we bought, I separated them because you know when butterflies come, they start eating the leaves of all plants. So one part of the plants is here, the other one I showed you before. We also have some nice salads in this patch and a bit of more potatoes. Next week I'm planning to transfer the biggest of our seedlings to the garden. The weather looks promising, so I think it will be good. When you decide to transfer your plants in the garden, choose a day with not much sun. It's better to transfer them when it's overcast, and the best option is if you have few rainy days following, so the plants have time to adapt to the garden and to the outside conditions. Like these ones, we put them in the garden when the weather wasn't too sunny and they look really healthy. Yesterday we uncovered this bed. If you remember from our previous video, it was covered with black cover to stop weeds from growing. So we are preparing this bed for our seedlings. When we uncovered the bed yesterday, I saw something that looked like a snake and I thought it's a snake, but actually it was a slow worm, about 30 centimeters long. I firstly got frightened that it might be a snake, but when we googled it, we found that it's a harmless creature. Even it's very beneficial for the garden because it eats snails. So when you are a beginner gardener like us, you always learn new stuff, like we did yesterday. My little helper is again here. She's a wheat gardener and loves to keep warm my strawberries. I found her yesterday laying comfortably on my strawberry patch, which I'll show you in a minute, and she even managed to damage few of the strawberries.
In one of our previous shots, we showed you the moment we picked our first strawberries. Our strawberries are full of flowers and they keep giving some fruits. We have few that are almost ready to harvest. This will happen in one of the warm days when we have a bit of more sun. I suppose they will get a bit more red and ready to harvest. See what we have. She's again in my bed, warming up my salads. What are you doing here? You smashed my parsley and the salads. If she sees a hole, she's ready to jump inside. This is what the hailstorm and the cold did to our beautiful pumpkins. Unfortunately, we forgot to cover them and the leaves are damaged. But I hope the improving weather will help the plants to recover and start producing new healthy leaves. I incidentally bought some coriander seeds instead of parsley seeds and planted them here. So now we have coriander patch, and I'm hoping this will be a good reason to learn more recipes that include coriander. We have to cut more arugula some of the next days, and I'll show you our favorite recipe for arugula salad. With these two small veggie beds, we have so much salad that we cannot manage to eat, although we eat salad every day. Here my microgreens are not microgreens anymore, they are grown salads, and they also need to be included in some of our delicious salad recipes. We'll show you what we eat for lunch. This is usually a salad, fresh from our garden. It's the best thing to go to your garden, cut your veggies and make a delicious meal of them. These tiny plants are the only seeds of carrots that germinated, but we have a whole row of carrots, and we hope this will be our first year we have our own carrots grown in our garden. This is the most gigantic onion we have in our garden. I know it's not good to leave it to flower, but because Milena and I love very much onion when it blossoms, we decided this one we will sacrifice to see the beautiful flower. After that, onion will be not good for eating. Usually when it produces that stem with the flower, the bottom part starts rotting, so we'll just enjoy the beautiful flower. Here I planted some watercress. I'm just curious to see if it grows in the soil. It loves lots of water, but I think this one is doing fine. And our salads are okay here. This small experimental bed does not drain very well. And here we usually have small mushrooms growing, which shows that there is excessive moisture. So for now we are just keeping here some leafy veggies. And finally I'll show you our beautiful sweet pea. That one is our biggest. It already found its way on the net, and it's attached with this small mustache. So probably it will grow up to this plum tree. We put this thread so it can climb on it. I can't wait to see the flowers. From what I look at some images on Google, it flowers really pretty. Don't know this one which color will be. So we look forward to see its beautiful flowers and hopefully to harvest some sweet pea that we'll use in our recipes. Definitely we'll share what we'll cook with it with you. Yesterday we also transferred this beautiful oregano here. We bought it from the garden center. Just like thyme, this herb is an excellent pollinator and also our favorite seasoning for Greek salad, which we love eating in summer. These beets we started from seeds. They have been just outside, not indoors, and they are about 1 month old. The plants are doing fine, and this is an early variety beetroot. You can also harvest the leaves and use in your salads. In February, we planted 3 blueberries. This is the Cabernet Splash, the smallest one, but it was the one with most flowers. Part of the flowers are still here, but it already has some small blueberries. I think birds already know we have blueberries in our garden because they've been checking every morning each of the plants. The next one is our legacy blueberry. This is the biggest shrub. It also has some flowers. And the plant is doing quite okay. We try to water them once a week with a water in which we put some vinegar, about 100 milliliters of vinegar on 10 liters of water. They like acidic soil, so because our soil is not very good, we try to give them the normal pH of the soil, this way, like adding vinegar to the water. And that's the third variety we planted. That one has just 2 flowers, but I think the plant is just too small. We need to give it a time. This small apple tree here has some problems. If you can see, the leaves are getting dry constantly. We tried to treat it with neem oil, and I think there is some improvement. It even has some tiny apples here, but still we cannot understand what's the problem. It has been like that for 2 years since we bought our house. I don't know if the neem will help, but looks better already. We promised to give you an update after we pruned our trees last autumn. Most of them are full of fruits this year, but the weather was better and bees have been visiting our garden very often. This is our persimmon tree. Last year it gave probably more than 300 fruits. Now it has damages also from the hailstorm, but if you can see, it's again full of small persimmons, which we hope will mature and will harvest again many fruits this autumn. These 2 trees, a pear and a cherry, have been planted too close and needed serious pruning. So last autumn we cut many branches, and looks like it gave some result. Here we have small cherries. Last year we didn't have any on this tree. And this pear, we had to take the top of the tree because it's too close to the other trees. It grew just quite high, but didn't develop any normal branches. So we cut the top of the tree, and now the tree produced many pears. This is an early variety. Last year we had 2 pears on that tree. We managed to taste them, and they are absolutely aromatic and delicious. So I hope the tree will keep these small fruits, and this year we have a good harvest. I told you before that we have many roe deers coming to our garden. They enjoy our grass, but looks like they also enjoy the bark of our trees. Look what they did to our cherry tree here. They come too close to the house and obviously got used to us and are not afraid at all. And they are munching on the bark of the trees. So we should fix that and apply some sealing here, and hopefully the tree will heal itself. So as much as I like roe deers and cats, they both make lots of damages to our garden.